Loving greetings, everyone. We have a packed program for you today, and we thank you for joining us. Today, are going to start with the images of the Ascended Masters and the angelic host, who are helpers of God and who love and protect humanity continually. They also help each one of us to fulfill our potential as divine beings of light who've been selected to restore love, goodwill, order, harmony, and excellence to the planet at this exciting time. We've selected 3 new skills to add to your skill sets as lightworkers in helping with world uplift at this time. We think you will hugely enjoy using them and teaching them to others. Now, after a short prayer, we'll show the Ascended Master pictures, which is about 6 minutes. Then Jim will do the induction to gazing, after which we'll have a short meditation before we present the program, Mastering Energy. So now, the opening prayer. Beloved Lord, thank you for yet another opportunity to extend love to your golden-hearted attendees. And please bless them today with sharp minds, receptive hearts, new ideas, self-confidence, and drench them with your merciful love. We thank you, dearest Lord, for selecting each of us as light bearers for world uplift at this pivotal time in Earth's history. Please give us strength, energy, courage, determination, focus, and humility. We love, love, love you, darling Lord, our sweetest treasure, indweller of our hearts. Amen.
Now, do you want to say anything more about the slideshow?
Yes, we are going to show the Ascended Master pictures, which, as we said, is about 6 minutes. And the Ascended Masters are the helpers, along with the angelic host of the Lord. They constantly protect us and inspire us on the earth. Now we will see the Ascended Masters who are helping you during gazing, during the whole program, and they've also been assembling before this program, and they will be with you afterwards, sometimes even a day or more afterwards.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that slideshow, which we used to show at the library in our various gazing groups. Some of you are very familiar with it, having watched it before. So we're now going to prepare for doing gazing. So let's all place our feet flat on the floor with our legs uncrossed and our hands in an upright, open position, receptive. If you're sitting on the floor, you can sit cross-legged, that's just fine. But if you're sitting up in a chair, if you would uncross your knees and your ankles. Now let's get in mind 3 or 4 wishes, prayers, or intentions that we have for ourselves or for our loved ones. They can have to do with anything at all. You need to get them very clearly at mind. Typically, some of the categories that you might think of having your wishes or intentions from are your spiritual life and your life purpose, your body and your health, your emotions, your emotional sensitivity, your relationships with anyone in your life. Could have to do with children, parents, other relatives, people that you work with, anyone at all. Could have to do with your selfless service activities and your leadership roles. Get them clearly in mind. And they can also be things that you'd like to get out of your life or out of the lives of those you love. Now, when we do gazing, as most of you already know, you don't need to stare or try to transfer energy back and forth. Just look at us with a soft, almost unfocused look, with your eyes almost unfocused. Just a soft, easy look. And allow your mind to become empty, clear of thoughts. Let all of the thoughts drain away. Let your thinking stop. And just allow yourself to, in an almost unfocused way, look at us. Now, if you happen to discover that you are thinking, that there are some thoughts, that's perfectly okay, but you'd like to go back to no thinking, so do that. Allow your mind to empty again and just go back to empty mind and continue with gazing. We always begin with a breathing exercise involving our consciousness and our spiritual heart center that's right in the center of our chest. So let's do that all together. We're going to do it 3 times. Let's breathe in deeply. Raise your shoulders up towards your ears. Now, big breath out as you imagine your consciousness dropping down into your spiritual heart center. And notice how it feels at the end of your out breath as you're connecting with the quantum field of love. Let's do that again. Breathe in deeply. Now breathe out, consciousness down into your heart space. Notice that feeling when you're making that connection with all that is. One more time. Breathe in deeply, shoulders up towards your ears. Big breath out, consciousness down into your heart center. Noticing that feeling when you're making the connection. And now imagine you're out there in the universe, you're extending your consciousness out there to the quantum field of love, however you imagine that to be. See that connection happening. And now breathe in easily and out easily as you come back to the room. Now, if you have photographs, you can hold them up. Many of you have laid them out on the floor in front of you. That's fine too. You can hold them up on a card that contains a number of photos. But let's begin right now. And now you can come back to the room. If you were holding up photos, you can put them down. The masters would like to continue with a short meditation. They've been with you ever since you sat down today for the program. They may have been with you before that even. Connie and I will be leaving the screen during this time, so don't worry about that. We will be back. There is much more to the program. There's a workshop that follows this, so please stay with us. And we hope to have you be with us when we rejoin for the workshop following this short meditation. So we'll begin with 3 ohms and we will end with 3 shantis. So let's begin with the 3 ohms. Om. 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace.
Now, if you'll get your note paper ready, it's time to prepare to jot down your notes, and this is our disclaimer. We do not diagnose, prescribe, or cure, and we are not medical doctors, as you know. Viewers are encouraged to seek help from their health caregivers. This educational, inspirational program is protected under free speech that is guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution and is never meant to harm or coerce anyone in any way, but only to empower viewers. The title of this program is Mastering Energy. We have 3 skills that we're going to teach you, and also teaching stories. There are 3 profoundly important practical skills for health and safety that we're going to share today. In mastering energy, the first skill is the Native American body scan. We're going to tell why you would want to do it and how to do it. We're also going to open a coning with nature, which means it's a vortex to connect with the devas and the masters who help us maintain balance and harmony in our environment. And 3, we're going to show you how to do a space clearing, both near and remote, why we should do it and how to do it, and then we have teaching stories about that. The first thing I'd like to mention is that there are some principles regarding energy that are very basic. Energy pattern recognition is a modern survival skill. Notice how you feel around people and how you sense them rather than what they do and how they look. It's very important to train yourself to immediately tune into a person's frequency. Now, we're responsible for the quality of our thoughts and emotions, and they hang in space forever unless we negate them. Foul moods are an indulgence. They're a dangerous one, and they can adversely affect you and animals and plants.
How about the people around you?
And the people around you, of course. Misqualified emotions harm ourselves and others, as we said, plants, animals, and the environment. And what we mean by misqualified is such energies as anger, fear, resentment, and jealousy. So it's good to be aware of what you're thinking and feeling at any moment. And if you realize you're thinking and feeling negative things, to stop them immediately. Also, it's very valuable to avoid energy drainers. Energy drainers make you tired and depleted, whether you're encountering them in person or on the phone or by email or social media. They can leave a residue or a film in your home or workplace. They can also deplete you of vitamins, especially vitamin B and potassium. Now, the person that has done the most with this work is Michelle Wright of Perelandra Limited, which is a nature reserve in Virginia. No? Mm-hmm. Energy drainers are people that drain your energy. Also, energy drainers can kill your plants, your house plants. Be a fountain, not a drain. I'd like to tell you, let's just drop that slide for a moment, and I'd like to tell you a story about some very harsh lessons I learned from someone named Beth. Excuse me, just a moment. Years ago, I was going to take a vacation to Central America, and I was looking for a house sitter to take care of my 80 houseplants that I had had for many, many years. I wanted the person to simply bring in the mail and water the plants once a week. It was very simple. I was attending a church at the time, and there was an acquaintance at the church whose name was Beth. She happened to mention that she was getting a divorce and that her husband was coming back to the house for 2 weeks and would like to organize their possessions, separate their belongings, and get the house and the yard ready to put on the market for sale. So she was looking for an inexpensive place to stay for 2 weeks while he did that. It occurred to me this might be a perfect situation for both of us. So I said, well, you're welcome to come and stay at my house for 2 weeks. All you'd have to do is bring in the mail every day and water the plants once a week. I do have quite a few plants, about 80 of them, and they're experimental plants. So, but you don't have to do anything that I do except water them. Now, I had done a bit of study on plant life and music, so I played Indian morning ragas for the plants every day. I played classical music for them, and I told them every day that I love them and they're beautiful, and I thank them for blessing the world and for blessing my house. So I also would periodically clean their leaves and enrich the soil and so on. I just felt that they were actually sentient beings. As we know, all creatures are sentient. Though they may not speak to you in customary ways, they communicate and they know exactly what you're talking about. The only problem is, even though I had told the plants every day for years and years that I love them, I forgot to tell them I was going on vacation for 2 weeks and that Beth was coming to take care of them and that I would be back. I learned a hard lesson on that. When I came back at the end of my vacation to Central America, as I approached the house, I sensed something was very wrong. As I walked in the door, there is a tremendous pall of gloom that was hanging over the front hallway and the living room. I walked in and greeted Beth and was horrified to see that all of the plants, all 80 of them, were dead. Dead. I was so shocked I could hardly speak. I said, Beth, what happened? The plants are all dead. How are you? Were you here the whole time? She said, yes. You didn't leave? No. Was anyone else here? No. You were here by yourself? Yes. I said, are you feeling all right? What were you thinking and how were you feeling when I was gone? What were you saying to yourself or out loud as you walked around the house? And she said, oh, I was just so angry with my husband that he's divorcing me that I went around the house every day saying, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. How could you do this to me? How could you leave me? I hate you. I said, oh my goodness. The plants must have thought you were talking to them. They're used to hearing, I love you, I love you. And I said, well, did you water them once a week? She said, yes, I did. And she said, oh, I didn't even notice they died. I said, Beth, I am familiar with what you're going through right now. I know it's very, very difficult, quite challenging. And I think you might want to think about getting some help through this period. She said, well, my husband says I'm very negative, and I don't believe it for a minute. I think I'm a very positive, upbeat, cheerful person. And I said, your husband said he wants to leave you, and he has, because of your negativity, and 80 houseplants that were in perfect health have left. That's 81 beings that didn't want to be around your energy. Now, I'm sorry to be so harsh, but the point is, there is no shame in being depressed or grief-stricken. Practically everyone on earth becomes grief-stricken or depressed at some time in their lives. But you don't want to stay stuck there. You, I think, could benefit from finding a really good therapist to identify your thoughts and beliefs and your feelings and to get some very good skills to move forward in your life. And she said, yes, I think you're absolutely right. And she did. All right. The next story I'd like to tell you is about Marie and the Indian burial ground. Marie had also gotten a divorce, and she had to move to a smaller house. When she moved to the smaller house, she started having a lot of headaches. She was very tired. She slept a lot. Sometimes she had insomnia. And the house just seemed to be inhabited with dark spirits. It turned out that Marie consulted a dowser and discovered that the house had been built on a Native American burial ground. Ultimately, they were able to clear the house, and Marie was able to regain her energy and to move on with her life. But the point is that if people tend toward depression or anger or resentment, then those emotions will cause them to gravitate to a house or an area or an apartment where there are dark energies exactly like that. It's a good match, only they don't realize that they're being drawn into an intensification of the same emotions that are causing them a great many problems, and that their health could suffer as a result. Now, there's a final story I'd like to tell you, and that is the story of Lou Ann and the jealous ghost wife. Lou Ann was a local friend who had nursed her ill husband for a number of years until he finally passed over. She met someone, Tom, who also had nursed his wife through a long illness. When they married, they moved into Tom's house, and Luann began to realize someone was watching her. She began to realize that there was a spirit in the house that wanted Luann to leave, and she wasn't about to leave. Finally, she called 2 dowsers to come and scan the house for any energy portals, and they found some and closed them up. And she told the late wife of Tom, "You have passed on now. You need to go to the light and continue on with your spiritual journey. We are happily married, and we are going to dispose of your artwork, your accessories, and your furniture. I belong here now. You don't belong here anymore. We wish you well." It came to the point where they finally had to move out of the house into another house, but the furnishings were neutral in their vibration, and they were able eventually to sense that the jealous ghost wife had gone on her way. The next thing we're going to do is show a technique called Native American body scanning. Now, why would you use Native American body scanning? I can assure you this is a very, very practical skill. So let's show the chart on that. Now, the scanning tips are that, well, first of all, why would you use it? You would use Native American body scanning for your own protection and to get a sensing as to another person's state of health or state of mind, and also to help them and serve them in any way that you could. So what we're looking for is several things. We are looking for, as we said, their energy pattern, their vibrational frequency, and we are wanting to know if they're armed. For example, are they concealing a knife or a gun? Do they mean you any harm? Is this a friend or a foe? So as you can see on the chart here, the human scanning steps are, first of all, you greet them and ask what they're working on these days. For example, a garden or taking a class or finding a job. And Jim and I are going to do a role play about this in a minute. He's going to play the role of my neighbor Bob, whom I will be meeting at the post office in town. So You greet them, nod, and look down to the right, slightly away, mentally going over their front, back, and sides of their body. Is this a friend or a foe? Are they healthy? Are they energetic? Do they have any plans or agendas for me? Do they want to ask a favor? Are they going to make an invitation? Do they want to borrow money or whatever? All right, then. So now we'll do the role play. Bob, hi. How are you doing?
Oh, hi, Connie. I haven't seen you for a long time.
Well, yes, we've been really busy. What are you working on this summer? Are you planning to take any trips in your plane to the annual convention of the Flying Farmers?
Oh, yeah. We're going to go off to Oklahoma before very long. In fact, yeah, we're doing a lot of things this summer. It's pretty busy, and but we've got some good help on the farm too, so everything's going good.
That's great. Well, I'm glad to hear that. That reminds me, have you seen any more rattlesnakes in the barn lately?
No, no, and I'm very glad we haven't.
Well, that's good news too, yes. Also, we're getting ready for the concert season, and since you're the president of the Loveland Concert Band, I was wondering how many musicians you're going to have this summer. I think it's normally 80, and how many concerts you're going to be playing.
Well, we're back in business for the summer, and there are going to be 45 or 50 musicians because we have to keep spacing. And we're going to play 6 concerts. We can't play the 4th of July because they've moved the fireworks. So we're going to play on the 6th of July, an Independence Day concert. And it's going to be great.
Well, good, good. I'm happy to hear that. Now, guess what I'm doing?
I can't guess. I have no idea.
Well, I'm taking a new class called Expanding Your ESP Skills. And one of the things that we're doing for our assignment is that we have to scan 3 people. It's called the Native American scanning process. And then we're also going to be clearing 3 different properties of negative energies. So I just want to tell you, while we were talking, I heard every word you said, Bob, but I was also scanning you energetically through my mind's eye. I was noticing your energy along your back and on your sides and along your front. Did you notice I was doing something different?
Do I have to be worried about this?
Oh, no, of course not, Bob. You don't have to be worried about it. I'm just telling you that you're my first person I'm practicing on, and I wanted to ask you a few quick questions if I could.
Sure, I think it's okay.
All right. Well, while we were talking and I was listening to you, I noticed that there was a lot of red energy at the lower part of your back, and I was wondering if you've been having any back pains lately. It seemed more on the right side toward the hip.
Well, that's kind of ESP-ish. Yeah, I've been having it. I've been having sciatica, which is kind of on the hip and goes down the leg, and it's it's been very, very painful.
Oh.
In fact, I want to mention something to everybody who might be listening, and that is that I put the Gravovoy number for sciatica on my calf, and I mean this pain had kept me up during the nights.
It had.
And 4 hours later, it was mostly gone. 6 hours later, it was 95% gone.
That is true.
And I attribute that to the Gravovoy number because I had tried all kinds of things.
Yes, I was very relieved when we wrote that on your leg and it worked. So back to the role play. Well, Bob, also when I was scanning you, I noticed that there might be a little bit of pain or discomfort in your knees. Have you had any knee problems lately?
Yeah, every once in a while, that old left knee kind of locks up and it's like something pushes out and it's not quite right. Usually it goes back in, in a day or so, but I have had that happening a little bit lately.
Would you like me to come over and do any energy work on you, or do you feel?
Oh, it'll take care of itself. It just doesn't take very long, and it'll be back.
All right, that's just fine. I'm always happy to help you or Linda at any time. Now, here's another thing, and you don't have to tell me the answer, and I certainly won't tell anybody. But as I was scanning you, I'm wondering if by chance, since we're talking also about snakes in the barn, if by chance you have a concealed handgun in a holster under your left arm by any chance.
Yeah, I never go anywhere without it.
Right. Well, living in the country, there are lots of predators, lots of wild animals, and of course, livestock that become injured from time to time. So I know exactly what you mean. Now, then, I'll tell you something else. I picked up plane trip, and you said that you are planning to go on the Flying Farmers Convention this summer. So I would call that correct, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm very excited that I just tried this out on you, and thank you for participating. So I had a hit on the back and on the knees, and then also on the weapon, and then furthermore, what was the other one?
Oh, I don't know.
It just seems like I was correct, so I feel very happy about that.
Well, now that we bumped into each other, I was wondering, would you and Jim be available tomorrow night to come over for maybe some iced tea and pie and see if we see the eagles that have been landing in our front tree now and then?
Oh, yes. Have you seen those bald eagles then that have been in the neighborhood the past few days? Yes, they are gorgeous looking, and I'm so happy they're not an endangered species anymore. Is Linda going to make her famous peach pie?
I think that's what she's planning.
That's wonderful. We would love to come. 8 o'clock?
Maybe a little earlier if you can make it.
Okay, how about quarter to 8? And could you ask Linda if I could bring salad for
Oh,
4?
don't bring anything.
Oh, no.
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yep. Just we'll have iced tea and pie, and that'll be enough.
Well, that sounds great. Bob, it's been wonderful seeing you. I'm happy that you're looking so well, and I hope that your health problems clear up soon. Give my love to Linda, and we'll see you at 7:45 tomorrow night to admire the sunset and enjoy the bald eagles. We'll see you later.
Okay, great. Bye now.
All right. Now then, as you can see, we were looking for certain things with Bob, and then we made a mental note and then checked them out. So then I looked, I nodded, I indicated from time to time I was listening to him, but I wasn't going to be staring at him so that he would think that I was doing something strange, which I really was, but nevertheless we wanted to seem as natural as possible. Is he a friend or a foe? He's a friend. He was armed because of the wild animals in the area, and he was healthy and energetic except for back and knee pain. And he did have an agenda. He's going away on vacation, and he is going to ask us to watch his house and bring in the mail, which we're happy to do. We did not mention that during the role play, but that was something I picked up and something that he gave assent to. So the next thing is we are going to talk about the fact that nature devas govern form and balance. So we have a slide on that. Devas, or spirits, are in charge of everything in the world of form. So everything in nature has an overlighting or a guardian deva, and that is every flower species, every tree, every animal, the mountains, the oceans, the rivers, gardens, parks, meadows, your town or city. Also, countries, continents, homes, offices, hospitals, churches, schools, stadiums, projects, relationships, songs, books, symphonies, families. They all have a spirit that is helping them. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to do, since we have worked on the first skill, which was the Native American scanning technique, we're going to do what is called opening a coning, or an interdimensional vortex. The reason that we do that is that we want to have the cooperation of nature in everything that we do, and we have a slide on that which we're going to bring up now. All right. This is called the 4-point coning with my nature partners. So this is an interdimensional vortex we're going to open. we state very clearly what we want to do. The thing that we're going to do next is that we are going to do an energy cleansing. So my first point of this 4-point coning is myself, that is my mighty I am presence, the Holy Spirit within me. The second part of this is the Christed energy of nature. Now, this doesn't refer to the personality of Jesus. It means that there is a Christed light in every aspect of nature. There is not one square inch anywhere in the cosmos where God is not. So every aspect of nature is illuminated with a bright light. Number 3, we're going to connect with the deva or spirit of a particular building or a project or a garden, for example. And then number 4, we're going to connect with the relevant ascended master. For example, an ascended master of healing or science or architecture. In this case, we're going to work with Archangel Michael, and he's going to assist us. So the reason that we're going to open our 4-point coning is that we want to cooperate with nature in every way, and we're going to show how to do it. We just did that. Now next, we're going to do energy clearings on 3 different properties. So we're going to apply the knowledge of opening the 4-point coning to 3 different areas. A small property called B's Coffee Shop, and we have a chart on this. Now, B's Coffee Shop is such, it's going to be very easy. It's 1 story, and we're going to clear, with all 3 of these buildings, we're going to clear 5 feet below, above, and around the building. That's roughly, for overseas people, 1.5 meters. So we are going to close our eyes and go mentally 1.5 meters or 5 feet below the foundation of the building. And we're opening our coning now, and we're connecting with the presence within us, and we're connecting with the white, bright light of the Christed energy and nature. And we are also connecting with the deva of the building and with Archangel Michael. So you can connect now either by finding a little tickle in your heart that means I'm connected with my presence, I am connected with the deva of the building, with nature in general, and with Archangel Michael. So some people get a little feeling of an itch on their nose, tickle in the heart, or you, if you know how to douse, you can use your dowsing marble or your dowsing rod or whatever item you use for dowsing, or you can do kinesiology on this. If you do not use or know any of those skills, then just trust that you're connected with each one of the 4. Now that you're connected, then you imagine a huge, bright white sheet of energy underneath the foundation, and the other 3 partners that are working with you, each is holding on to a corner of this white sheet of bright light energy. And very slowly, you are lifting it up through the building. Now, it should take about 25 to 30 minutes, start to finish. You don't want to rush this. But because we're under a time constraint now, we are going to step through the process on each of these buildings. So we open the coning, connect with the beings, we lift the sheet up through the building, and we notice in our mind's eye if any dark gray or black debris from people's thoughts and emotions are falling into the sheet. We lift it up through the building, up to the windowsills, up the walls, up to the ceiling, up over the roof, and we finish at 5 feet or 1.5 meters above the roof. And also, our big sheet extends beyond the building 5 feet. So as we bring it to the top of the building, we go 5 feet above, and we ask Archangel Michael to bind up the corners of the sheet. We give over our corner. He wraps it all up and ties it in a knot, and we ask him to lift it above the stratosphere and to evaporate the sheet of light and all of the dark energy that we have cleared. And now we go back. He has done that now. We thank him. Thank you, Archangel Michael, and we close the vortex between ourselves and you. Thank you to the Deva of the building of B's Coffee Shop for helping us, and we close that vortex. Thank you for nature and the Christed energy, and we appreciate your help. We close that vortex, and thank you, Mighty I Am Presence within me. And now we've closed the vortices to all the people. Now then, we go to Lucky's grocery store, and we do the same thing. We put our sheet of light 5 feet out the edge, around the edge of the building. It's also a 1-story building. We open the coning or the vortexes with each of the 3 other beings, and then we state our intention. We would like to clear Lucky's grocery store of any negative energies or influences. And then very slowly we imagine that all 4 of us are lifting the sheet of light slowly, slowly up through the store, up to the roof, and we ask Archangel Michael to gather up the sheet ends, to tie them and lift them up to the stratosphere and dissolve the debris in the sheet, and we thank him. And then we close the vortex with him. We close the vortex with nature. We close the vortex with the Deva or the guardian spirit protecting Lucky's grocery store. And we are finished. Then we go to your house or apartment, and we do the same exact thing there. So we always open the vortex with each of the beings, we name them, and then we lift the sheet up. Archangel Michael gathers the ends of the sheet of light, takes them away and dissolves them. And then we thank him and the others. All right then. Now, what we're going to do is that after we have thanked everyone, we're going to answer these questions. How often should you clear your home? Generally, weekly is quite enough. If it's a business, then you can clear it once or twice a week, depending upon the foot traffic that comes there daily. In other words, if you have 10 or 20 people a day, 5 days a week, then that could stand clearing once or twice a week. Now, you can do the space clearing process as a service to others or as an income stream for yourself. And you can clear hotels, churches, college dorms, clinics, hospitals, restaurants and bars, various other establishments in your area. The next thing we're going to do is to show the energetic skills practice sheet. This is your assignment. So between now and the next time we meet at the end of June 2021, this is what we can play with. I think you'll have a lot of fun, and you might want to send us some emails or your gazing coordinator email reports on what you discover. So first of all, think of 3 people you'd like to scan: a friend or a colleague, a neighbor, a public servant, such as a store clerk, a nurse, a mail carrier. And then also think of 3 buildings you'd scan, like your home or apartment, a gym or a sports club, an auditorium, or number 3, a store or a shop. I think you'll notice that the energy will be bright and clear and sparkly after you do the clearing. And you'll wonder, I wonder why we never thought of doing this before. It makes such a huge difference. All right then. Now we're going to show the slide that says Energy Mastery Review. As you know, we told you what we were going to do, then we did it, and now we're telling you that we did do it. So what we have covered, and we thank you for your presence and attention, is we discussed the principles of energy, the body scan, why and how to do it. We did our practice with our neighbor Bob. Then we opened a coning and talked about how and why. We did space clearing, why you would want to do it and how to do it. We did the human scanning steps, then the space clearing using a sheet of light and working with the other aspects of nature, then making a map and using the clearing focus, Then also the effects of misqualified energy on plants and on people and animals. Now then, we talked about the fact that everything has a deva, or a guiding, protecting spirit. We talked about energy drainers that are people, and they can drain your energy on the phone, in social media, in person. They can rant and whine and exhibit victim consciousness. None of that is good for you, and they can kill plants without even realizing it. All right, finally, we talked about Luann and the jealous ghost wife, Marie and the Indian burial mound under her house, and Beth and how she inadvertently killed my 80 research plants. And we helped her to become more aware and conscious so that she did not become stuck in grief and depression. The time has fled. We thank you so much for being with us. We hope that you will indeed practice the things that we've worked on. And now we're going to thank the Lord and the Masters for their help. And we have a slide on that. Thank you, dearest Lord, beloved Masters and light and angelic host. Please help all of us to see and to feel divinity that is in us, ourselves, and in all beings. Open our hearts to have compassion for those that suffer, and inspire us to comfort, encourage, to offer food and pain relief wherever we can to all those who are suffering and in need. Amen. Thank you, and goodbye until next time.